name's Tamsin. I work as a paediatrician in Cambridge, actually, and I was a clinical entrepreneur on the programme in kind of year 3, 4 time. And so I've got a role now with the team. But Polly leads the team and started the programme with Tony. And Tony will tell you the story about how he developed the programme and why it was needed. Polly, can I get you to say hi to everyone?
Hello, I'm Polly. Thanks for joining this evening. Sorry, I'm busy admitting everyone to the session. I'm National Programme Lead for the Clinical Entrepreneur Programme, so welcome.
And then just before we get to Tony, we also have, oh, well done, Gemma. You've just stuck it in the chat. Gemma, just say, do you want to say hi? Because we also have some ambassadors who are available for you to reach out to if you're interested or want to know more, but I'll let Gemma speak.
Hi, my name is Gemma Paul. I'm a registered midwife and also part of the team as the CEP ambassador. It's so lovely to see you all. I know that we've got a fantastic range of roles and people, and it's fantastic to see some names that I have seen personally and spoke to personally as well. So you're all welcome. Please feel free to contact myself or the other two ambassadors, which I'm sure they will introduce themselves now. Thank you.
Thanks, Gemma. Darren, would you introduce yourself? Hi, Gemma.
Yes, certainly. And just to reiterate Gemma's point, great to see so many people at this prep session. My name's Darren. I'm a clinical scientist and engineer. I was very fortunate to join the programme in cohort 6, so coming up to 3 years ago. And yes, if I can help anyone, then please don't hesitate to get in contact.
Thank you, Darren. That was lovely. I can't see Polly if Liz is on. Is Liz here? Because I know, is Liz there? Oh, fab.
Hi.
Sorry, Liz. Hi.
Sorry, I was a little bit late joining. Sorry, I was a bit late.
Lovely. Thanks, Liz.
So I'm Liz Harrison. I'm a nurse practitioner in primary care. I was on cohort 6 of the programme, and I'm now an ambassador for the programme as well. So nice to be here.
Thanks, Liz. So we're really fortunate that we have the ambassadors who joined this year to help reach out to people, particularly in different specialties, and to be able to spread the word about to let people know how and when to apply. And Professor Tony Young will explain about how he founded it. And so, Tony, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Tamsin. Sorry about that. Hello. So you just call me Tony. You don't call me anything else, please. It's nice to meet you. You can tell I'm in my urology clinic. The prostate patients have all left. I just got the last one done before 6 o'clock. So I could come on this, so you're not subjected to that. Can't you tell it's an NHS? It's actually quite good for one of our places here behind me. There we are. So welcome. God, an all-day stone and prostate clinic. Can you imagine how I feel? If any of you know what I do, you'll know exactly how I feel. So it is genuinely nice to see you. So you are very welcome to this CEP prep webinar. You're going to hear from a range of different people this evening. And thank you to Tamsin, my kind of co-clinical lead, who kind of welcomed you all, and to Polly and the others who are in us. And you can ask us, you said, ask any questions you like in the chat. Let's cut to the chase. There's so much information online and all those things. The entrepreneur program is now in, I think you're going to be, are they year 8, Polly? Are we in year? I've lost track.
We're in year 8. The new applicants will be in year 9.
This will be year 9. Crikey. I was young when this started. Had short hair, no beard. I don't know what's happened since then. So I should have introduced myself. I'm Tony Young. I am still a urological consultant at Southend Hospital, where I am now. I'm Associate Chief Medical Officer across Mid and South Essex, responsible for innovation, research, transformation, strategy, digital, procurement, and commercial. Chair and Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Anglia Ruskin University, where I lead the program. And that's because when I was a junior doctor, I had the audacity to do 4 startups, raise £5 million, exit them all, and fight the health service my whole way, because I wanted to change patient care through innovation and entrepreneurship. I wanted to have an impact greater than the impact of just seeing someone sitting next to me in the clinic. And although I really love operating on people and making a difference in that way, I wanted to have a broader impact beyond that. And I thought I wanted to do it through innovation and entrepreneurship. Learned a lot of lessons along the way, lots of scars on my back. And I'm not joking when I said I had to fight the health service my whole way. The number of people that wanted to take me out and have me shot, who just said, get on with your day job. What are you doing? Just be a clinician, can you? We need more clinicians. We don't need entrepreneurs in healthcare. And then it was, well, now 11 years ago, because I've just passed my 10th year anniversary at NHS England, that Sir Bruce Keogh, the National Medical Director, said, Tony, will you come to the centre and take this new role on of National Clinical Director for Innovation and help us drag the health service in your direction? So we do a whole lot of things at NHS England about getting the latest, greatest things taken up across our system, so everyone has access to innovation. And you know, the latest treatments for patients. I'm the senior clinical advisor across NHS England, Department of Health, other ministries, arm's length bodies, other bits of government, public sector, private sector, and foreign governments that come and see our nation around healthcare and life science innovation from a clinical perspective. 10 years ago, I think it was, when a couple of junior doctors who raised £500,000 for a startup approached me at NHS England and said, we've been told we can be junior doctors or entrepreneurs. We cannot be both. And if we don't give up our startup, we're going to be thrown off our rotation. So we've quit. And I went, what? Are you kidding me? And they said, well, we've come to see you because you managed to do startups while you were still a trainee. And I said, yeah, do you know how hard it was, though? They tried to take me out. So I went to see Sir Bruce, who was horrified. And he said to me, Tony, will you go and sort it out? But you have no money and no power. Go and see what you can do. Long story short, we developed a workforce training program around innovation and entrepreneurship called the Clinical Entrepreneur Program. I brought together the successful entrepreneurs I knew, some of them billionaires, many of them multi-millionaires many times over, but leaders from industry and the city and the life science sector, but as well as people from, maybe it was the House of Lords or senior NHS and public sector people, and said, come on, we can design this program together, help me. Lots of people gave very generously of their time. And at the same time, it hadn't really been published widely. In America, the lean startup movement had begun around that time. I don't think any books have been published then, about 2014 on it. Might have been just around that time. I hadn't seen them. So, and we designed essentially something that was the lean startup methodology and built it into this workforce development program. So the program will give you a commercial coach and mentor, and we have 250 amazing commercial coaches and mentors from all walks of the commercial, public, private sector worlds that can help you. Then a whole education program. We call those pit stops because I think you're like a Formula One car. If you're an innovator or entrepreneur in the NHS, you do laps in the National Health Service. We bring you in, lift up your bonnet, check underneath, give you some fuel, make sure you're not burning out or you need something else doing, and just make sure everything's okay before we send you back for some more laps in the National Health Service to run your experiments, test your hypotheses and your theories. There are 8, 9 of those or so across the year, day and a half things. The evenings start with founders' stories, which are just wonderful. They are just, you'll hear what some of the others say in a minute. And what's so wonderful, and we get someone from the public sector, someone from the private sector, and one of our entrepreneurs to come and talk about their journey for half an hour. And what we ask them to focus on is where they failed. where it went wrong, what they learned from that, and where is the journal for negative results. I can ask everyone, has anyone seen it? No one publishes negative results. How do we learn from when it goes wrong? You can't get into a, highly cited journal if your experiment didn't work. I mean, it's crazy. So how are we meant to learn? And that's what our founders' stories do. These people come along when no one's allowed to go on social media and say what's said without permission. They tell you openly and honestly. You might think, oh, they're all highly successful. It's amazing. Look at what they've done. They've transformed public sector or private sector, or done this or done that. Yet 98% of the time they probably failed and they came up short and it was a disaster. And they share with you the key lessons and learnings from that. And that allows you to just leapfrog stages in your journey that you would have just fallen into the traps that everyone does. So we learn from others who are prepared to share their lessons of where it went wrong. And it's the most inspiring and humbling and just incredible stories. I mean, there's so many of them. You'll see. I had one of them. I'm just trying to remember. We've had some of our entrepreneurs stand up, and it was going to be the next big thing, and they raised £500,000, and then they burnt out, and their whole life collapsed around them. And when someone stands up in front of you and shares that story of just how hard life is and what's happened, it's quite humbling. It's quite, and then all sorts of, you're going to meet some amazing people. And then, so the educational days, we cover everything from how to sell into the NHS, lean startup and methodology, fundraising, branding and marketing, legal and regulatory selling into the wider world, understanding yourself and growing a team as a leader, all those sorts of things will be covered across the year, but you cover them as groups. And of course, in the meantime, you're working on your innovation or your startup idea, and it just works, bringing that all together. We then can connect you into, we don't give you any money, we don't pay you. We can connect you into customers and funding pots so you can test and trial your ideas. And then there's a whole range of networking events across the year. We have one with the Alzheimer's Society. We're launching our Dementia Innovators program this year, which is pretty much the same as the Clinical Entrepreneur program, but you can be anyone from health or social care. To go on the entrepreneur program, you have to be employed by or delivering services for the NHS. But the Dementia Innovators program, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Society, we wanted to go wider and say if people are just providing care for people with dementia and want to get involved in this space and learn and understand and see if they can transform care of people with dementia, they can come on that program. We also have a patient and carer entrepreneur program. So now truly we've brought everyone to the heart of what we're doing. Do you know, it took me 6 years, 7 years. We only got them last year. I've been asking for that from day one. And each year it was, oh no, not this year. We'll do it. And anyway, now it's over the line. And there's no, our patient entrepreneurs, go, you wait until you meet them. You can't stop them. You think our clinical entrepreneurs are go-getting, those patient entrepreneurs, go. And I'm so thrilled that they're like that. See, and they look at things in such a different way. They see problems that I would never have seen. And it's just a privilege to be able to help them. So, and we'll help you with testing and trialing. We have a program called Insights, which can help with that when you're ready for that. Then international days, I'm going off to, so one of the joys of being the National Clinical Director for Innovation, but I don't know what it is. People just ask me to go and speak. And so in a week's time, I'm spending a week in Amsterdam and with all the big global pharma companies talking around AI and learning what they're doing in drug discovery development, clinical trials and artificial intelligence. And I'm going to be sharing what we've learned from the NHS and our AI lab and a range of other things. And we've got about 13, 14 clinical entrepreneurs coming over with me. I couldn't get funding for them, but they got a free pass, €2,000. I often try and twist it out of the arms of the organizer, saying, you want me to come and speak? Fine. You have to give me some passes for the entrepreneurs. So you get access to the sorts of things that you would never get access to before. And we go to other countries as well sometimes. And it's a great chance for you to bond together and get together as a group as well and learn from each other. And then there's just a whole range of other activity going on in networking events. Now, it is not the NHS entrepreneurship spoon feeding program. So if you think we're going to treat you like toddlers sit you in high chairs, and myself and the team wander along with spoons, stuffing entrepreneurial education into your mouth, you're on the wrong webinar. You need to go to the spoon feeding webinar, because that's not what we do. You will get as much out of this as you put in. You will see some of the case studies on our website of what happens when we give you blessing and permission and support and connection into the system. And you're going to hear some of the stories from some of our incredible ambassadors, and Tamsin and others who were on here this evening to tell you some of their journeys and what they've done. It's and now, what are our metrics? 1,300 clinical entrepreneurs on the program, between them over 500 life sciences founded, 180 million patients and professionals benefiting from their innovations. They've raised over £1 billion between them all. And we have built 7% just over of the UK life science industry from scratch in the first 7 years. It's just unheard of. It is. And why? Because the National Health Service is one of our greatest assets. So we are ecosystem builders. This ecosystem did not exist before. It was fragmented and separated, a little bit here, a little bit there. The National Health Service has been able to bring that together, and we've created this critical mass of human beings and amazing human talent, but pulling together the resources. I'm amazed I haven't been sacked yet, NHS England, because I keep going and asking for more resources, saying, no, we need to do this, we need to do that. And the number of times they look at me and just go, he's just trouble. And I get it. But I'm there fighting for our front line, going, come on, these people are amazing. They've got lived experiences of what the problems are. They won't get it all right, and lots of their ideas won't work. It doesn't matter. Shouldn't an organization, shouldn't a health system be doing this? And so at the moment, I'm winning the argument. And the entrepreneur program is just amazing. So I think what we might do, rather than me just give you a monologue, that's a little introduction to how it is and what it is. We will go through the application process. Tamsin, do you want to do that now, the application process, or do you want to, should we just let our ambassadors kind of riff on it? Do you want to go through what the structure is rather than just listen to me with, I mean, I can do it, but
about applying.
Yes, go on. And then and then our ambassadors can not only talk about themselves and what they do, but also their top tips.
Yes, I'll be quick, because you definitely want to listen to Gemma and Darren and Liz, because they're amazing. But also, applying, these are the preparation sessions like this one, are just to give you some more information. There's a lot on the website. So there's a run through about how you can answer questions and what the application looks like. And actually, the team are terribly busy, but they are also very kind about if you've got particular queries, about answering them and helping you to apply. And we're really keen for everybody from a really wide range. So people have thought in a wide range of specialties within the NHS. So sometimes people feel like someone might be more preferred over someone else, which just isn't the case at all. There is none of that exists within this program. So you are all equally as welcome, and really keen, and partly because the ambassadors are there. The reason is to make sure that other people, everybody from all specialties, feel really represented here. It started off as a purely doctors program and has grown, and it also started off with a sort of more unequal balance between women and men, about 10% women, and again that's grown and is very nearly 50-50 now. So the program's really proud about that. So there's lots of support. I know a lot of people feel like they might have many ideas. It's best to pick one. We appreciate that you've got many ideas. We appreciate that you might start with one and have to pivot, or you might have to move. We understand that happens too. So, and we have a lot of people who are early stage ideas, and a lot of people who have been much more mature in their ideas and have maybe got some funding underway, or maybe done a clinical trial or whatever. So there's a real range of that, and the programme accommodates everybody. So feel welcome and feel like you're able to apply. You are welcome to ask questions in the chat. It opens in October, closes at the end of October, so it's open pretty much just for October. You could have a look at the Dementia Innovators Programme if you want to improve the lives of someone with dementia, but that is running alongside, so it's a slightly different programme, but they're all encompassing. You have to put in lots of information about yourself and your idea. We're very interested about you, and there is a 1-minute pitch in that application program form. So you will the idea. So Tony looks at every single pitch that gets put in. So everybody will go through Tony, but there are 3 different people who will assess your applications as well. So you'll have someone from industry and someone from the NHS.
Tamsin, I'm just gonna interject there. So usually I do look at it because I love videos. So Tamsin's going to talk about the application process and take you through a little bit. People get really scared about the 1-minute video pitch, and our ambassadors will tell you a little bit about that. Don't be worried or frightened about it. It has taught us a great deal and is a core component of an application. All right. I try to look at every single video, mostly because it's like watching You've Been Framed, because there are so many car crashes, it's untrue. The number of people that don't edit it and they put their phone up there and then they walk back and then they just adjust their hair in it and make sure they look. And I'm going, why didn't you cut that out? I don't need to see that at the beginning. Or some people put up, I kid you not, other people have done kind of handstands on the top of cliffs to show us how athletic they are. And I'm going, well, you can see why I thought that. Don't do that one. It was dangerous and I didn't think it was very good. Be yourselves in the videos. Some people put up PowerPoint slides and narrate to them. They didn't get on the program. This is about knowing who the human being is. Why are you passionate and committed and driven? And because they are so amazing, I do try to look at everyone, but there were 700 and something last year, and even I struggled to watch 750 1-minute videos across the time. You feel a bit punch drunk. I think I did get through them all in the end. And I want to reassure you that there is, just before Tamsin got onto that, we have an independent process. 3 separate assessors, 1 commercial, 1 clinical, and 1 we call broader NHS. So it could be a manager, someone with some broader experience of the National Health Service, will assess and mark your application according to guidelines we give them. And then we average the scores and they come up with a shared mark between them. Some people, it's nice and easy, isn't it? Because they all get like 100% and it's just, they're kind of go straight through. Or they go to the top of the pile. And then there are people lower down in the middle where, it goes through review and we date it. And then there are people who have scored really low all the time. What we do with that, and you don't need to worry about the process too much, is what I do is I check every single application. Personally, I chair a group of us that look through them to check for fairness and consistency, system and process in place. 3 independent assessors, 3 different scores. They're all ranked and marked, and then we look at them after that. And I do sample all of them, even if you got 100%. It does happen. I think we had 1 or 2 last year. Mostly they're not normally get that. We did have them. So I will always look at a range of them. But the videos are so compelling and so inspiring. Just be yourself. And you don't have to have raised, a seed round or a friends and family round or have a startup already. You can just have an idea of how you want to transform patient care. Sorry, Tamsin, I just wanted to make it clear that it's an independent process that I then act as, I kind of chair a committee that looks at applications that didn't make it over the line to check for fairness. And then we do take a number over the line from that group to reassure you. But Tamsin is the scorer. Tamsin, do you want to just take them through the application, the rough things they need to do? And the other thing I should say, I don't know whether Tamsin will say it or not, but we give you the answers. Go and look at the website. Go and look at the examples we've put up there. There's no secrets. We want you to get across the line. And it's not a competitive process in the terms of, oh, they'll only allow 100 people on. Be amazing if 1,000 amazing people apply next year. One thing is Polly is actually going to have kittens, literally, rather than just have cats wander across a screen, which they do at most webinars we're on. My boss at NHS England will also have kittens. Secretary of State will be as pleased as punch, I can't tell you. And I would expect more funding to flow as the result. So give me the problem of having too many excellent people. So it's not about numbers. It's about how many really great people do we think there are that will benefit from the program, and we will make it work. Last year, I think it was close to 220 people came on. I'm funded roughly for about 100 a year. It doesn't matter. We made it work, and we'll make it work again. So, Tamsin, let me shut up my hand. Do you want to take me through the form now?
Yeah.
Or roughly, the rough things.
Yeah. So there, of course, we're interested in your innovation, but we are also, it is a workforce development program. So we're also, everybody is very interested in you as an individual. And so there will be questions about where you've achieved, perhaps where you've been involved in some sort of leadership or implementation. And that's partly why the video exists as well, is to kind of get across some of that passion and where you want to go in your career. And the reason is that not every single innovation will take off. People will pivot, or people might realize that someone else is doing it. They might collaborate with someone else. But what we've realized over the program, which has been amazing, is that the amount of people who have gone into leadership positions from being on the program, and that's been really unexpectedly high. And I think that what we're also seeing is the amount of people that are starting to change the culture of innovation within NHS trusts. And so something about you is equally as important, and is something that is scored alongside your innovation. So it is about developing you as a person, and you can't really help for your innovation journey to become something where you do quite a lot of personal growth as well. Well, that is definitely what I found. Your innovation does need to have been reasonably, like, we do have this big spectrum of people from early stage innovation to really quite mature stage. Like, some people actually have things on shelves and are starting to sell them, or have developed an app or whatever it is that they've done. And I need to say maybe at this point that there is also room for entrepreneurs who want to do that, selling out or developing something outside to really improve the whole NHS. But also there are intrapreneurs who are about maybe changing the system or something within their own hospital. So it might be to do with a pathway, and all of those are seen for the merits that is, because all will lead to an improvement of patient care in the NHS system. But your innovation will need to have, you might not have done a clinical trial, wonderful if you have, you might not have done a clinical trial, you might be connected to a charity or understand the patient perspective. You might have done some good background research and be able to be fairly confident with the numbers or the impact that your innovation might have. So when you're looking at your assessment process, it needs to be reasonably well pulled together, but you can be extremely early stage. Equally, we've had people who are really very mature, and you'd think maybe don't even need to come on a program, but actually people do that even when they've got very mature innovations. And the reason is that you need to have this type of network around you when you're doing something a little bit outside the box. And some of you might have felt a little bit lonely. I certainly did. I felt like I was doing something a little bit different, and I felt a bit lonely doing it in my NHS trust. And so there's something really powerful about having a network of people who completely understand and are in exactly the same space. And also, if you ask the clinical entrepreneurs, if you ask them who other clinical entrepreneurs who've been important in their own journey, everybody has a story about other clinical entrepreneurs who've been important in their journey. Sorry, I've got slightly off the whole application process. But the other thing is that the 1 minute pitch does have to be 1 minute. You'd think that that just feels entirely unfair and you can't explain everything. The 1 minute pitch is something that you'll realise is really, it's going to be a skill that you're going to really hone and you're going to get really good at. I had a device and an app, so I thought I couldn't possibly explain it all within 1 minute. The only way that I have got where I've got to on my journey is because I did explain it to some very key people within 1 minute. So being able to put across the idea and the fact that you could lead it is something that needs to be put across in 1 minute. So sometimes if the minute or the video that people upload goes on and on, then assessors are allowed to finish that at a minute. So try to keep it in as a minute. And obviously,
sorry to interrupt, you just reminded me. If you speak for more than a minute, we won't listen. So you're stuffed, I'm afraid. And some people have just decided they'll send in a link to a YouTube talk. I'm not joking. Someone sent a talk that was 10 minutes. I mean, they didn't get on the program because it showed me that it wasn't a bad idea, to be fair, but I decided they couldn't be bothered to submit an application properly. Therefore, they wouldn't really take part, and I shouldn't deprive someone else of a place as a result. So we really respect you for putting effort in, but don't go over a minute. The other thing not to do, which was wasn't it the first time last year, is to speak at speed. So there's a way of recording where you can record yourself and then you can come back and edit it and squash it in. So you're speaking really fast like this in a short period of time, and I can't quite understand it, but you've actually spoken at a normal speed and then compressed it and it goes on for a whole minute and it finishes at 59 seconds, and they didn't get on the program. Okay, it's not about the volume and the content. Don't do that. It was so funny. I was going to show it because we've got some absolute car crashes in the video pitches, but I respect your privacy and I just smile at people's attempt to try and get more in and where they are in their learning. So just be yourself, be authentic. You'll be fine. But 1 minute, it's part of the assessment process. It's hard. Mark Twain said, I didn't have enough time to write you a short letter. This is that. This is your short letter to us. Okay, it's hard. I know it's hard deliberately. We produce more entrepreneurs through the NHS than any other nation on the planet, from their healthcare system, in spite of our size as a nation. And probably add lots of the rest of the world up and we beat them as one system. So we've just found a way of doing it. So go with it. I know it's hard. And don't try and make it perfect. Just go with it. Just get what we've had. You don't have to sing it. Someone has sung it, got the guitar out and sung it. Someone has done a poem and done that. Someone's got in a lift and done their elevator pitch in an elevator. We've had that. We've had a whole range of different things that it's not about that. It's about you. Okay. And being authentic and just being yourself. That's good enough. Sorry, Tamsin, guys. Just I remember people don't speak over a minute. I mean, if it's a minute and a second, you'll get some leeway. Okay. If it's a minute and 20, it will be cut off.
And actually, Lucy and Polly have just reminded me that actually the application form does now cut off the video. So yes, definitely worth
you don't mess with that, Lucy, on the program. If there's something in digital and you mess with it, you're in trouble. So I don't mess with that, you know. Go on, Tamsin. Do you want to run through a few core sections of the form, because I want to bring our ambassadors on.
Yes, I guess the only thing to say is that it opens at 8 AM on the 1st of October. It closes at 6 PM on the 29th of October. There's very good reason for that, because when we made it midnight at 11:59, about 1 million people wanted help. So 6 PM it shuts. Sorry, Tony, I think you're right. The ambassadors should speak.
Okay, let's do that, and then we can the bits of the form we can go through at any point. Right. Who wants to go first out of them? Gemma, should we start with you? You're first on my screen, then Darren, and then let's go to Liz. Gemma.
Hi, thank you very much. Thanks, Tamsin and Tony. My name is Gemma Paul. Again, very, very lovely to meet you. And I'm going to just take you through a little bit about my journey here, why I'm here, and what I can do and my role. So I'm a registered midwife, the first registered midwife to co-host the Big Pitch event at CEP. And it was such an honour. And not only because I was flying the flag for midwifery, but because maternity care, despite numerous advancements, still struggled to have significant advancements in maternity care and the disparities that impacted the quality and equity of care as well. And that's something that was really passionate to me. And particularly those from minoritized and ethnically minoritized backgrounds as well. Because as a midwife, I discovered that I wasn't given equitable care to all of my patients in my clinic, and that just didn't sit right to me. And these key issues kind of manifested in frustration and in anger. But then I was able to use the CEP as a fantastic resource to turn that frustration into something really, really positive. And Tamsin has already kind of alluded to the fact that you come into this and you do your application, but you pivot. So my initial idea when I put my application form in was to save the world. I wanted to save the world, and I wanted to do some online education for Black and brown skinned women to reduce the health inequalities. And I wanted them to have a healthier pregnancy and a healthier baby. And what better way than to do it online? But of course, when you start picking at that, and this is what the CEP program really makes you do, is look at not just the solution, but look at the problem. And when you find your tribe within the clinical entrepreneur program, you start talking to other people and you think, actually, somebody's tried that and it didn't work. Why? And this is the greatest part of the CEP, I find, is that you talk to other people that's gone through the same journey and the same frustrations, and you always collaborate ideas and you can bounce off each other as well. So I came to my problem statement, really. It wasn't just about women knowing about how to advocate for themselves. It was more to do with how the system sees them and how, as a healthcare professional, that I can have the tools and resources to support an equitable healthcare. And there was about 4 things that were really standing out to me. One was the missed appointments in my antenatal clinic. And for example, last year, we had over 1 million missed appointments in antenatal clinic. And a huge majority of them are from ethnically background or people living in deprivated areas. And they, surprisingly, are the people that need to see their midwife the most. And we all, and if you didn't know, I'm sure you will get to know the racial disparities within maternity care, where Black women are 4 times more likely to die than their white counterparts. And part of the reasons, and this is the greatest part about being in the CEP, is knowing that you can connect to other people to find the why. So I've collaborated with many other CEPs. One in particular was, why are we using devices that are not equitable? So you might have heard somebody called Ear Switch. And Nick is an absolutely fantastic CEP, and we are supporting him in making sure that our diagnostic tools that are currently used in the NHS are equitable across the board, because they're not. So this is the greatest part of being in the CEP, is you find the reasons why. And also, Tony alluded to the resistance of change. And I really feel like maternity in particular are way, way behind all the medical fields, and even nursing, we're kind of forgotten about. And because we're forgotten about in the corner, that resistance of change is even worse. So even sitting in that staff room going, why are we still using paper? You know, why are we still measuring urine in a jug when there's so many advances in technology? And those eye rolls in that staff room, I bet you everybody on this call will know what those eye rolls are. So my kind of innovation encompasses everything in that. And this journey is full of pivots. It's full of car crashes, and it's full of tears, but those are happy tears as well. And I'm going to give Darren and Liz another, some more time to tell you about their innovation and what they've done, and their kind of journey with the CEP, because I want you to feel like this is not just something that we just come here and then we're successful straight away. It's a journey, and anybody that would want any information, any advice or guidance, a shoulder to cry on, please feel free to contact me. So thank you so much.
Gemma, thank you. And I think that's a really great idea. And what we'll do is we'll wrap it up with lots of questions at the end. We've got multiple ones of these coming up when the applications are open. Lots of the video recordings being made available online as well. Darren, do you want to, we'll just let you riff for a bit, shall we?
Okie doke, just bear with me.
Are you going to share some slides?
I am actually. I realised.
How did I know you were going to do that? This is the kind of prepped guy he is. I wing it, and he's got slides.
I'd misspelled intrapreneur, but so as can you hear me? Yeah, well,
it all looks good, Darren. See your slides.
I can't see you, but if you can see me,
we can hear and see you and your slides.
Okay, so as Tamsin described, I'm an intrapreneur. So whilst I haven't founded a startup, I have hopefully used some of the many benefits of the program and applied them internally to progress our immersive technology in healthcare work. So I'd like to very briefly describe the work that first initiated that, but then I'll focus on some of the many benefits I've gained from the program and my advice for those considering applying. So what first kind of initiated the work was an innovation fellowship from the National School of Healthcare Science. That gave me a bit of time, a bit of funding for a year to develop an innovation that hopefully would benefit people living with or beyond cancer. And at that time, it coincided with my lived experience of my dad's end-of-life care, where I became interested in, could we use technology to bring some of the benefits of going outside to those who unfortunately can't? So it kept on coming back to this question, really. And if you imagine, unfortunately, you're unwell, and if you could be anywhere else, if you picture that place, many of you might be thinking of a beautiful beach. You might be thinking of time with your loved ones, or in your garden. But wherever it is, it will be personal and unique to you. So over the course of a year, we developed a system where we could record outdoor scenes with a 360 video camera, upload them to the cloud, and then view that, be it on a VR headset or a tablet or someone's phone. So here's a video of what that looks like on a VR headset. The outdoor scenes, we filmed paddleboarding, gardens, beaches, and then we've added therapist-based narration alongside that. And the bit that we're still working on is the personalized element. So the ability to lend one of these cameras to the friends or family of patients, so they can record an environment or activity that has meaning to that person. So it could be the view from their garden, could be their pets or their family, that kind of thing. So this has been an absolute pleasure to be involved with, but we didn't really want to live project to project. There's so much scope for benefit at scale from immersive technology, be it staff training, patient staff well-being, patient information. So hence why I applied to the program. So hopefully that example is kind of useful as an intrapreneur. I'd just like to briefly describe some of the many benefits that I've had. So I think one main one is just it has opened my eyes and shown me the many great things that can happen when you empower staff and patients to innovate. It's definitely kind of changed how I see my role and what I would like to kind of achieve with the remainder of my career. I think one really important thing that it does is it just shows you that it can be done. So, if you have an insightful problem that you've identified, a potential solution, and you're able to kind of explain that in a compelling way to others so that they feel similar, then this is the program that can help you and scale that so that the benefits become much wider. And you just need to look at some of the many success stories from the program for examples. It's definitely shown me that an entrepreneurial outlook is something that is very much valued in the NHS, and you should be proud, and it's legitimate to have. That's the only way we're going to be able to tackle some of these larger challenges that face us. And I think foremost, it's just been an amazing source of support, enjoyment, and opportunities. To be around people that are doing amazing things that will make healthcare for the next generation better is a pleasure, and it can't help but kind of rub off on you. So you feel like you want to have a bolder, more positive impact. So if you're considering applying, first of all, I'd say innovation is for everyone, no matter role or seniority. I'd kind of kept an eye on the program for a number of years. As a non-medic, I wasn't quite sure, whether it would be the fit for me. But genuinely, being on the program, you talk with others, and it is just about the problem they're trying to solve and their solution. I think the rest it kind of was all in my mind, really. Also, to make the point that your understanding and experience of the problem you're trying to solve is incredibly valuable. Many of the innovators may have lived experience, and that's obviously not always the case, nor should it be. But I think one thing that it can do is it makes them fanatical about the problem they're trying to solve, rather than almost getting kind of sidelined by their solution. And that's where the way the program practices what it preaches and has the patient entrepreneur program, the dementia innovators program is fantastic. Also, public patient involvement engagement from the outset can be incredibly valuable at trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes, so you really understand the problem you're trying to tackle. And finally, just to say, this is an amazing opportunity. It's not a passive training program. You get out to a certain extent kind of what you put in, but nowhere else have I encountered a program where you get to meet such a diverse range of individuals involved with health tech innovation. So every year the program gets better and better. Every year more people apply. So this is the best year to apply. And if myself, any of the other ambassadors, or I'm sure the team can help at all, then please don't hesitate to get into contact. Finally, just to say thank you to everyone involved, and particularly the CEP team for all their kind of excellent help and support. So if I can help with any questions or anything like that, then please say. But
amazing, Darren. Thank you. We'll do questions at the end. Liz.
Hiya. So I'm Liz Harrison. I'm an advanced nurse practitioner in primary care, and I'm a Chief Clinical Information Officer for Digital at Mid South Essex and a Clinical Safety Officer. And I think I applied to the programme as part of my midlife crisis, I'll be honest with you. I was just about to be qualified for 20 years, and I thought, oh gosh, I just felt a bit, I'll be honest, I felt a little bit disillusioned. I was finding that I was sort of having conversations in meetings about things that we were doing care close to home, stuff that we've been talking about when I was a new district nurse, etc. And I just needed something different, something new. And I thought the one thing that I'd consistently been frustrated about and been involved in was that I, as a new A&P in primary care, I found it really tricky to define my scope because it's such a big area. I'd come from a district nursing community matron background, and we all A&Ps come from different backgrounds, and we all have sort of varying levels of support, and retention rates are very, very low, but people don't really realise because we're not really included in the workforce data. So it's something that kind of is under the radar, and I'd sort of found that people over time had started coming to me to help them to define their scope, particularly if they worked at a surgery where there weren't any A&Ps already. And I'd ended up innovating without realizing it, and I'd come up with a sort of a toolkit for them. I had an Excel spreadsheet that helped you put your knowledge in, and then it populated this skill set that you give to reception. And I thought, oh, I can do that. So I had this sort of idea in a very sort of crude tool, and then I watched the Big Pitch event, and I was so impressed, and I thought, oh gosh, maybe this isn't for me, because mine's just a sort of an idea and I haven't done anything with it yet. And then as soon as I came to the first pit stop, I realized how inclusive it was, and everyone was from different backgrounds, different levels of some people had big limited companies and they had employees and everything, and it was just me. So I had no idea where I was headed. I just had this idea, and I learned so much. And one of the things that I hadn't thought about was just having the time just to myself to reflect on my idea at a pit stop. It was just great. I never gave myself a whole day to think about this kind of thing, and it was really re-energizing, really what I needed at the time. And I did find after a while that I'm not great at doing things like this on my own. And I found another clinical entrepreneur, because the networking is fantastic. And there was a lot of synergy between what he and I were doing. And I've ended up, because he was further on than I was, I've ended up working with him. So my journey kind of, I sort of started off not really knowing, just knowing that there was something that I wanted to fix, and I had some ideas, and it's taken me somewhere completely different. So I think my message is that this really is for anyone. You just need to want to make a change. You just need to have the passion for it. And it's just so exciting. It's just so different. And it's great to be part of it. And once you're part of it, you're always part of it. I was cohort 6. Yeah, I feel like when I sort of see what Gemma and Darren and everyone are doing, I think, oh gosh, what am I going to talk about? But I think it's quite nice because it shows that it is for everyone. There's something that we're all contributing in different ways. So hopefully that's helpful.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Liz. So look, I think the nuts and bolts of the application thing are all on the website, and I'm not going to go through spoon feeding you on that. You can ask your questions, the team around. Let's open it up. Unless Tamsin, you want to add anything, or any of the rest of the team do. Let's see. If you've got some questions, ask. There are no stupid questions. There's no right or wrong answer. This is about a safe space to explore your dreams. And I was just after Liz, I was wondering how long my midlife crisis has been going on. I've not left it. I need to leave the program, and maybe I'll get over it then. Maybe that's when it stops, when you leave. I'm not sure. For those of you wondering what that is, it'll happen to you one day. Don't worry, you'll know when you get there. So any questions, you can pop them in the chat. You can just raise your physical hand or raise your digital hand, or even just open your mic if you want to. We don't mind. You've got a whole load of people here, different professional backgrounds, different experiences. Anything anyone wants to ask, or you can be already shy and I can go home early and have some dinner.
There's a hand up from Araz.
There we are. Araz, come on then. Do you want to open your mic?
Can you hear me firstly?
We can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So I'm an optometrist. I'm working in the NHS. I have a partner in crime with me who's a pharmacist, but he works in industry. So when I'm doing the application, obviously it's via myself. Would that be right? in terms of pitching and everything? Is that how it works?
Yep. So Araz, you're 100% right. It's a great question to ask. Lots of people worry about you're applying as an individual. There might be 3 or 4 of you in a startup. Now, only people who are either employed by or deliver services on behalf of the National Health Service can apply to join the Clinical Entrepreneur Program. But if your partner is a patient or a carer or wants to apply for the Dementia Innovation Program, which are pretty much essentially the Clinical Entrepreneur Program, but there's just extra support from the patient and carer team at NHS England for the Patient Entrepreneur Program and extra support from the Alzheimer's Society for the Dementia Innovation. So if it was to fit under either of those, for example, if Araz, you would say, actually, we've got something around, and someone spoke to me the other day about this, and ophthalmologist, I think, consultant, so St. George's somewhere, it's about the network, it's amazing, who said, I'm really concerned, we're not screening enough people in nursing homes with dementia, there's a real health inequality, people with dementia don't raise it, don't say that they can't see very well and, they've got cataracts or something else is going on. And when they come in for surgery, they're allocated the same length slots as other people. And they need more time, and it's not right. So we're not able to offer them a fair and equitable service. The same time slot in the same eye theatre is not the right thing, or the same service. So if a colleague could, get something around that, he can apply, but one of you can be on the program. We've got a lovely example, haven't we, in Shula, and what is Shula's co-founder called? Anyway, I can't remember now. Someone will remember. Nippon, that's it. So Shula was a junior doctor and had come up with a great idea, and Nippon was a physicist from the Cavendish laboratories in Cambridge. So they are just amazing, those 2 boys, crikey. And and they presented at the Dementia Innovators Program the other day. Oh my word, they have only cracked laser spectroscopy of urine specimens to give you not only the bacterial culture result, but the antibiotic sensitivity with minutes in a little box that you have on the desktop in front of you. And as if that wasn't impressive enough, he said, actually, I can do 2 samples at once, Tony. I said, just stop. It's too much. It's too incredible. And I have snuck young Nippon, I don't tell Lucy any of this. I just tell her, close your ears, don't listen. I've let him come along as my guest to the entrepreneur event. So they've often both been along, but he can't formally join. You'll have to understand, NHS England can't fund someone from the pharma sector to come on the program. But I think in future years, we will look to see how we open it up. But at this moment in time, those are the options. So you can definitely apply, Araz. You apply as individuals. Does that all make sense, Araz? You happy with that?
Yeah, that makes sense, and that's absolutely amazing. I agree with you in terms of like dementia and everything else there as well. I appreciate there's a dementia innovation program as well, as you guys mentioned. To be honest, to find you guys in the first place, it took literally forever. Obviously in optometry, we're kind of like isolated to ourselves sort of thing, and we work in the opticians or whatever usually, and even when we work in hospitals, we're kind of like isolated from everyone else. So I fully appreciate what you yourself, Tony, and Tamsin, and everyone else here who has participated today.
All right, Aaron, well, thank you for your kind words, but let me tell you, the NASA medical space program doesn't advertise. We do. We put it out on social media. So when you arrive there, the first thing the colonel who's in charge of the whole thing says to space medics who arrive in NASA is, well done for finding us, because only really motivated people can find out how we do it. Now, I hadn't intended it like that, but really great people. They get in networks, they talk to people. You should see about this, you should know about that. So I'm glad you find us, Araz. Good. Right, let's move on.
Thank you.
Vimal, you're next.
Hi, Tony. Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. If you want to tell us what you do, where you're from, there you are.
Hi. My name is Vimal. I'm a surgical registrar working in the Southwest. I'm ST5 right now. Thank you, everybody, for taking time to explain all this to us and coming on, especially the guests. My question is, so I have a habit of getting myself into lots of different things, and finally, really getting burnt out. I'm very keen in terms of quality improvement and things like that. What is the time commitment? I know it's subjective, it depends upon your project, but from the university, if I get into the program and I have to do my modules, what is the time commitment that I have to put into this? I'm full-time, working full-time, I'm not part-time. So how would this work?
Okay. It's quite easy. I mean, I'll chip in, and if others want to chip in, they can answer too. You can spend as much or as little time on the program as you like. There are 8 educational days, which is the evening, the night before, then typically you stay overnight and come along with us the next day. We'll feed you and water you, and in various parts of the country, we can actually afford to cover your travel and put you up in a hotel. Not all parts, though. We ask that you come to at least half of the pit stops. Some people can't, and there are really good reasons. Work pressures, personal life issues, a whole range of different things. That's fine. People can step out and step back. You get out of it what you put into it. It's not a university course. It is just a life experience. You will just meet people. You'll come along to the events and you'll just go, wow. And you'll just see, you'll meet like-minded people. I don't know if anyone else from Gemma or Liz or Darren or Tamsin want to add anything to that?
I think we appreciate that you are working in an NHS job. We appreciate that that's happening alongside this programme, and so it is deliberately designed to be flexible. I'm a mum, and so I also appreciated the times when it needed to be flexible. And we appreciate that there are differing circumstances. People get the most out of the in-person events, and so we try to enable people to get there. And the education days, as Tony explained, are called pit stops, and they are this evening event and then the full day education day event the next day. So sometimes they're all over the UK in order to accommodate people, but actually we will try where we're able to cover the expenses for that. So sorry.
No, go on, Tam. I was just going to say, so there's that, and you know, there's not an issue really with you coming along to the events when you get to know them. Hang on one second. So I've just had an email. Emails are like snowflakes, and I live in a blizzard, is my kind of saying. But I have just had one while I've been sitting here. I can't mention the name of the individual. I'm just going to read it to you, and then I'll tell you who it is, and you'll go, I need to go to the pit stops. I don't care. So, dear Tony, I hope you had a great summer. I would like to connect with you again on a couple of topics. That means you didn't do the follow-up you promised when we met at the beginning of the summer. You mentioned mentoring. I'm still interested. Let's discuss. We have spent a lot of time with 3 diagnostic companies over the last 3 months, and I'd love to have a quick chat with you about them when you have a spare minute. We're also going to help another group raise some money this quarter. I won't mention who they are. And we'd like to invite you to our annual flagship event in Marylebone. That'll be nice. Why? Because he represents a £10 billion family office in Mayfair, and he's their chief investor. He's going to be one of the mentors on the entrepreneur program. He's already asking me for tips, and I'm about to invest in these 3 life science diagnostic companies. It's the power of the network, the people you will meet, the quality of not just your fellow entrepreneurs, but who we can, and often you work together, but who we can connect you through to when you need a funding round, when you need this or that. You won't have any trouble in prioritizing. If we're any good at what we do, and you're in the right place at the right time, it'll work for you, and you'll do it, and you'll run with us fast and for a section sometimes, and then at other times you'll step off and go and do something else, and that's fine. All right. So that's not a problem. Right, let's move on rapidly because we're moving on. So is that Faisal? Faisal, hello.
Hello, thanks for the information shared so far. I've just got a couple of questions.
Hang on, you have to tell us what you do and where you're from.
Okay. I'm a specialty doctor in local mental health team in Nottinghamshire. So I work in the general adult mental health service unit.
Wow. So do we need more people in mental health on the program? You're all welcome, but you are especially welcome. It's such an important area. So what's your question? Brilliant. That's a great start.
Yes, thank you. I've sort of got what I want to do is still at the idea stage. I have the idea, but I don't necessarily have the technical skills to sort of use. Maybe you need programming and all of that. I was just going to get an advice on how that will work if I get into the program. That's my first question. The second question is about how to prioritize. Maybe I've got two problems that I've identified and I feel maybe I may be able to solve for this. What's like the general advice about how to sort of prioritize which one of those two you can and run with?
Okay, Tamsin, do you want to take those? And then chip in.
Yeah, it's if you're going to prioritize, then you could look at some of the NHS priorities. Don't worry about get to the point where you've applied. Once you've applied, we will run you through everything on these education days, on the pit stops, which will include how to brand yourself, how to build a team, what you need to develop personally, industry partners, how you would fundraise. So all of that will be something that you will gather next. So I would, if I were you, I would focus on one particular problem. I would probably make sure that aligned with some NHS priorities and I had an idea about what patients thought, and I'd done some really good background research at a minimum. And then I would don't panic. I think that once you get onto the program,
I love that advice from Tamsin. Don't panic, but we're not going to tell you. That's why it's hard. You decide. You get 60 seconds to pitch and an application form that's restricted. Be yourself and just go for it. You'll be all right. And with regards to technical help and support, you're not the first person to say that. There's lots of networks linked to the program and people on it. Some of our entrepreneurs have actually started companies that will help you do digital tech, AI support around that. Have a look at Blum Health, BLUM, Michael Watts. He's spun out of the entrepreneur program. He's helped several of people develop their minimum viable product. We've got some of our mentoring partners on the program, like AirLogic in Leeds, who have done lots of digital consultancy and work with people. So it's not all done, and it's not going to be easy and presented to you on a plate, but the opportunity is there, the skill set is there, so we can help you with all that. Okay,
Tony, can I just add to that? Just as I had exactly the same query when I started, and I just wanted to, I know you've mentioned the mentors, but I chose my mentor specifically because of her tech knowledge, because I had none. And you can go on and you can choose somebody, and there's also all the coaching opportunities as well, aren't there? So that I just wanted to sort of mention that, because
really,
I was clueless, completely clueless when I started.
But we don't expect you to have a clue. You know, there's so many things in life I'm totally clueless about. People telling me. So I sit there, and you're quite right. So the mentor matching platform is a thing of beauty. 250 mentors. I am told it's a bit like the dating sites. I have never been on one. Let me be clear, that was the generation before me. I have observed them on some of our entrepreneurs' phone and occasionally played by swiping in different directions to get them into all sorts of trouble, which makes me chuckle after one of the pit stops and say, you're going to get some rough dates out of this. But it's a bit like that. So you've got your skills and preferences and needs, and the mentors have theirs, and you can browse through them. It will select a few for you to look at, and you can choose. Really great point, Liz. Right, let's move on. Amy is next with her hand up. Hello, Amy. You're on mute, Amy. And if you want to tell us where you're from and what you do. Oh, you're still on mute. That's interesting.
Yeah, you look like you're coming off mute, and then we can't hear you. Sorry about that, unless your headphones are plugged in or anything.
So you might want to log out and log back in, Amy, or equally type it in the chat, and we'll deal with it. I can't lip read anyway at the best of times, let alone this side. So we'll move on, Amy, while you sort your mic out, or choose to type it in, and we'll just talk that question through and answer it. Next one is Helen. It looks like you're driving, Helen.
I am not driving, I'm a passenger. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Whereabouts in the country are you, Helen?
So currently in Axminster in Devon.
Oh, because it still looks like the sun's up there. I think it's just about set here in Southend-on-Sea.
Oh, yeah, it's lovely here. It's a lovely evening. We've just been to a campsite in Dorset to have tea with friends and a few non-alcoholic beers. You might have saw me drinking there. And now we're heading back home. So,
Excellent.
yes.
So what do you do, Helen?
Okay, so I'm a patient entrepreneur. I've set up a VCSE called Nutriri, and we're doing all that we can to improve access, experience, and outcomes for those that have experienced weight judgments, weight stigma, uninvited weight talk, etc. So we want to create stigma-informed systems to, like I say, improve health outcomes, not just for high weight people, but for everybody. It's a really important part of EDI work, and health justice work, really. So, and we've already set up a digital platform, a co-learning platform, and we've got good relationships into various sectors of the NHS and the VCSE sectors, but we really need some support because we don't have any funding. So it's about getting investment ready, etc.
Okay, Helen, so what's your question?
My question, and sorry that I dropped off the call and rejoined and stuck my hand straight up, is the patient entrepreneur program competitive? How many places are there? Because I know that the clinical entrepreneur program is a bit more accessible. And yeah, so what's the difference?
Okay, great question.
In that respect.
So we haven't got anyone from the NHS England team with me. Polly may be able to update us if it's changed. Last year, I think we had 12 patient entrepreneurs. I think the answer is going to be the same. Give us the challenge of having a really amazing submissions and lots of them, and I can't foresee NHS England turning round and going, "You've had 100 amazing patients, Tony. We can't help them." I mean, I just can't see that. Now, it'll be a similar number to last year, Polly, roughly, but there are all sorts of ways and means. And I have to say, last year, I think the patient team did provide feedback. We don't provide feedback to the clinical entrepreneurs in their applications en masse, general feedback, because there's just too many of them. But for the patient entrepreneurs, the NHS England team can provide you with some feedback. We have you're not our employees. We've got a greater kind of duty of care towards you and doing that. And so, and just because you're a patient entrepreneur, we won't apply the same standards and kind of benchmarks that we do with others, because we did have a few wacky people apply, and I don't mind being wacky. I think being organized inside your brain is sometimes is overrated, and I like wacky thinkers and that, but some of it wouldn't have been right for a whole range of reasons, and we were able to give them some feedback on that. And of course, some of them weren't happy. I understand that. But at least we were consistent. So I'm not worried about the numbers, and I don't think you should be, Helen. Okay.
Lovely. Thanks ever so much for that.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing your application. Right. Next up is Nada. Hello, Nada.
Hello. Hi. Good evening,
Hi.
everyone. How are
Tell
you
us
doing?
where you are, what you do, and then ask your question.
Yeah, so my name is Nada. I'm a specialist pediatrician. I haven't yet started working. I'm GMC registered, but I haven't yet started working in UK. I've recently joined. I'm doing in Anglia Ruskin. I'm doing
You've been emailing me, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. And I've been lucky
You
to
were
see.
very forceful in your last email to me, I tell you.
Yeah,
You take some insight.
This is us, by the way, in the Middle East. In the Middle Easterns are usually enthusiastic. They want things to be done faster than
You'll
UK.
learn. You'll learn.
Yeah,
Right,
UK.
come on. What's your question?
So I have two questions. Could the video pitch be a voiceover, or do you need us to be there?
You can do what you want.
Okay.
You could hire a professional actor. If you did that, you pretty much score nil, I have to say, on it. This is about you. This is about who are you as a human being? Why are you driven and passionate and committed about transforming patient care? If you put patients at the heart of your application and your pitch, you won't go far wrong. I thought the question you were going to ask is, I'm not working in the NHS at the moment. Can I apply? And the answer to that question, which is a good one, is as long as you are planning to apply. So, for example, nursing students, medical students, allied health practitioner students, etc., are not working in the NHS, but they're planning to. And as long as you say that on the form that you're planning to take a role in the NHS, that's acceptable. All right? Was that your question?
Yeah, but this was answered while in the prep, so I knew about this, and I knew that I'm applying already for work in the NHS, so I'm gonna be part of that team. I have another question, which I've asked before. I just want to make sure, like, if during the because you said that there are a lot of people in different stages, so could we be running the work that we want to be doing while the program is on and running, or no?
Of course. We've got people all different. So we've got people turning over multi-million-pound companies who can't scale them. And they
so while in the program, we could still launch the
Yep.
Perfect.
Good.
Perfect.
Right. Next one is Nitish.
Amy?
Yes, go on. Oh, Amy, your hand's up. Amy, yes, can we hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
We can.
Hooray!
Come on then, Amy. Tell us where you're from, what you do, and then what's your question?
Hi, everybody. I'm Amy. I'm a therapies clinical service manager in North Bedford. So I've got a lot of OTs and physios, etc. And a lot of different pathways which keep getting pushed and pushed. So you know the saying, all the gear and no idea. I'm essentially the opposite. I have loads of ideas and no gear. So at what point do you need to know what the idea you want to run with is? Is it at the application stage, or do you know that, can you just still have all of these ideas? Do you get to speak to a mentor before you do the application?
You have crystallized that very nicely. I'm going to ask some others. Gemma, what do you think about that? Oh, I tell you, if there was an example of loads of ideas, it's this one. Come on, Gemma.
It is. It's so true. Amy, I resonate with you. What I would suggest is knowing what your why. So why are you doing what you're doing? And then what Tamsin said as well is making sure that aligns to the NHS priorities, because it is a competitive process. So you have to give yourself enough of an oomph to stand out. So you don't want an idea that is so washed out that it's just a little bit. You want a really robust reason why you're doing it and why it's going to change or improve patient care.
Okay, fab.
Okay.
And just to confirm, Tamsin, you did say that alongside this, you're offering a night away from my small people.
What's not to love? Yeah.
We'll just keep giving. We'll just keep giving.
Thank you.
Good. Right. Nitesh, you're next.
Hi, sir.
Hi. So where are you from? What do you do, Nitesh?
Sir, I'm Nitish. I'm an unregistered doctor, currently pursuing my MSc in healthcare management. And I recently joined as a part-time phlebotomist at Northwest Anglia.
So I know your Deputy Chief Executive, Charlotte Williams. She's brilliant. You should go and say hello to her and say, will you be my reference for the Clinical Entrepreneur Program?
Yeah, we'll do that.
She'd love to meet you.
Yeah. My business idea is something which is related to healthcare, but it's not related to the patient care, but it's more about the healthcare professionals.
Okay, so what's your question?
My question is, I've actually competed for London Mayor's Enterprise and as well as in Greenwich for my business school enterprise challenge as well. And my idea is revolves around travel therapy. At Empyreans, we believe that those who dedicate their lives for caring of others deserves caring themselves as well. And I'm carrying out a research on the interventions for the doctors. My question is,
yes, come on. I want the question. I love the pitch, very entrepreneurial. Now let's have the question.
I mean, am I eligible to apply? I mean,
so
my
yes,
concept.
you are, because you're working as a phlebotomist in the NHS, 100%.
Yeah, but because it revolves around the in the previous speech video. I mean, you were speaking about patient care, more about patient care. So I was asked,
you qualify, you can apply. If anyone says you don't, they also make me check the eligibility of people that come through. And boy, and people think I'm a tough cookie. When it comes to eligibility, I want to give as many people as possible to. If you say I'm a director for a major pharma company, even I can't let that through. But you'll get through on eligibility criteria, no trouble. All right, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Good.
And I think that bit about worrying about if it's just about patient care is around improving the NHS system. So
yeah, mine is more about healthcare professionals. That's what I was asking.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just focus on, and someone was saying, focus on the problem. You might have 100 solutions. Don't worry about those. Don't fall in love with your solution, because I'm likely to tell you at some point you've got an ugly baby. I'm sorry. It's just, I'll be plain speaking with you. I love a good problem. Leaders in the NHS love a good distilled problem, and then they're up for listening to a range of things. We'll find out what someone's problem is and help them solve it. But you need to understand 9 out of 10, 90% of your time, dig deeper into the problem. Okay, 10%.
The main aim was, I mean, the people are pivoting their career. They're leaving doctoral career and choosing other professions like content creation or something else. I want to bring them back.
All right, I agree. It's a good idea. I'm not going to assess it here now. Well done, Nitish. I need to move on. We're going to allow one more. Nimsing, welcome. So you have to tell us where you are in the country, because the sun's still up. So it's not on the east side of the country.
Right. My name is... Hello.
Hi, Nimsing.
I am working at Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital. I am a hepatologist. And
welcome.
Thank you very much. And I think my initial encounter with this group has been when there was a discussion about lean canvas. And I think since then I've been more intelligent doing what I've been doing. I do have a small company as well alongside. So that has really been very helpful in crystallizing my ideas. So I think if anybody has gained from whatever is going on here, I think I have already. And to be honest, I got some grants to do some work with Gilead, and I develop apps as well. So I do have an app there.
Okay, Nimsing, what's your question? I like the entrepreneurial pitch. Let's have the question.
So the question is, a hepatologist, and I do have excitement about mental health. And I do want to collaborate. Does this group give a chance for people to collaborate with people who have ideas, but they need the capacity to do some of those ideas? If, for example, my own idea, I want to do it, but it's not within my specialty, will that score me low?
No, I'm going to ask Darren and then Liz, because they haven't said it. Darren, what do you think about that one?
So I'd just say, when I've been able to attend each of the pit stops in person, every time there's always been some kind of unexpected link or collaboration, maybe not off my kind of core innovation project, but other kind of side ones as well. So that is definitely one of the big kind of positives for being on the program amongst others who have other innovations.
Okay, that's a really great point, Darren. Liz, what do you think about that?
I think it's probably worth just clarifying that it's not like you're not committed, you're not sort of wedded to the problem that you come to the program with. Like, it's not like a research question that you're then committed to in a PhD for years. It will evolve, like you said. You have the problem, and then you'll start to really understand it, and it might take you somewhere else. So just to sort of clarify to applicants that they just need to come in with that entrepreneurial spirit and an idea, and then it could take them anywhere. So that, yeah, just go for it, I'd say.
I agree with that. So Nimzing, it's not a sales, you're not a salesman for your solutions and thinking someone else will take them on. They won't. You have to either find partners and work with them, put a lot of effort in. And I'll give you, if you want to speak to someone, reach out to Kevin Moore, who's the Prof of Hepatology at the Royal Free. You ask him how transformative. I mean, he's 67. He retired 5 years ago from the NHS and still works part-time. Has found the entrepreneur program transformative. Absolutely. So good. Does that answer your question, Nimzing?
It did. I will find out about how to link up with him.
Well
Thanks.
done. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I think we're there. Tamzin, any final remarks from you?
No, it's just lovely to see you all, and thanks for staying right to the bitter end. And good luck with your applications.
Gemma, do you want to have parting words? Do you want to say anything, Gemma?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, good luck, everybody. Don't ever feel like you don't want to do it. Just get it in. You can always learn from the experience as well. Good luck. Amazing. Darren?
Good luck, everyone. Just focus on your own application, not what you perceive others might be putting in. Just yeah, if you've got a good problem, then go with it.
And Liz?
Yeah, good luck, everyone. And I think if you've got a real passion for it, don't worry about it being really refined. Just let that passion come through in your application, and that's what we're going to be looking for, I think.
There we are. I'm just 5 minutes over. And while I was on the call, Nick Dependington, one of our entrepreneurs who's in America, has just messaged me and said, have you got 10 minutes to test my new large language model for his AI startup? And I've said, if you ring me as soon as this webinar is done, I'll do it. So that's what I'm doing for the next 10 minutes before I go home. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening. We'll see. Look forward to seeing your applications. There's a whole load more events we're doing like this across the time. CEP team are here to help you. Good luck. Good night. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.